So this session is the digital power shift. So it's about the transformative power of digitalization, of AI, and what it does with innovation in our future. So who of you know the difference of a digital twin and a virtual twin? Wake up, hands. Who knows the difference? Yeah, that's not enough people, guys. Okay. Yeah, what is the difference between a digital twin and a virtual twin? Haha. Okay, I propose you something. The next 15 minutes will get you up to speed on where technology is at, already right now, what is possible, what is impossible. And for this, I'm really, really happy and honored that I managed to get the Executive Vice President of Dassault Systems, like the leader and pioneer in digitalization for over 40 years. So, Florence Verzelen, please welcome her and give her your ear. I'm going to ask the question again, what's the difference between of a digital and a virtual twin? So listen, please.
Thank you very much, Anne, and it's a real pleasure to be with all of you now in this event. Actually, it's the exact contrary to all the other events I was in Davos this week, because usually I am the only woman in the room, and here I'm really happy to see mostly women and some men in the room. So thank you, men, for being there, and thank you, women, for getting together. And it's a huge pleasure for me to discuss this topic of virtual twin and AI. Why? Because I think it can be of everybody's interest to understand the difference between a digital twin and a virtual twin, and to understand why you are going to use it. And my goal today is also to explain to you why, in fact, the conversation should be on virtual twin and not on AI. How they can be used and where to begin if you want to use them. So, why do I think that digital twins are much more powerful by AI? First, of course, they're powered by AI, but I think what is interesting when we talk about virtual twin is that they really allow to solve problems. Because when we think about GenAI, everybody is talking here about GenAI, how much energy is going to cost, how much quicker it's going to be thanks to the latest LLM or the new chips. But at the end of the day, the question is on the technology, not on the how. And the how is really what is really important if we want to change our companies, if we want to change our industry, if we want to change the way we live. And this is exactly what virtual twins are about. And if we can take a step back on GenAI, because before I make the link between virtual twin and GenAI, what is GenAI about? It's about hardware, chips, large data sets, multimodal AI, and LLM. And in fact, it is as good as the data, the knowledge, and the know you put into it. So if you don't have the right data, it won't work. If you don't have the right knowledge to check that the answers are okay, it will not work either. If you don't have the right know-how to check that, to ask the right question, it will not work either. And we have seen failures with GenAI. A lot of companies created by GenAI, for example, a company called Zillow in the United States, their business was about forecasting the price of property, and they were supposed to be a marketplace for properties. And they used GenAI for that, and because they didn't have the right data, and the owners didn't have the right knowledge to check that the results were right, after just 2 months, the company went bankrupt because they overpriced properties by 200%, which is a lot if you buy a home. But at the same time, GenAI can be worked when you have the right data, the right knowledge, and the right know-how. At Dassault Systèmes, for example, we're working with a lot of companies. We have 360,000 clients all over the world, but we're working in China as well. And in China, you might know that it's a country where people are getting older and older, and they have real difficulties to cope with how many hospitals and houses for elderly they have to build. And they are supposed in the next 5 years, if they want to cope with that, to build 3 hospitals a day for the 5 next years. How are they going to make it? Well, basically, they use a virtual twin of a standard hospital made on the Dassault Systèmes platform, and with GenAI, they are able in less than 24 hours to adapt it to the specificities of any city in China, to have the necessary design for any hospital, and to build it thanks to the virtual twin of the construction and the coordinations that you can make with the suppliers on the virtual twin in less than 3 months. So using virtual twin to do the design and construction of hospital in China is just a game changer. And we are currently doing that with a partnership called BIAD. But what we are able to do for construction of hospitals can also work for things as important as health. We are very lucky at Dassault Systèmes to be also very much involved in healthcare. And you know, I'm sure a lot of you have kids, and I have kids. I have 4 kids myself, and most of the day I love them. Anyway, as a parent, there is nothing worse than your kid having a heart disease, because when your kid needs to have a heart operation, you have to have a surgeon that is able to do the right operation, but also to make sure that after the operation, the kid can get a teenager, and you can survive that time, and then get 20, 30, 50, 60, 90. So what do? With the Boston Children's Hospital at Dassault Systèmes, we are able, when a child has a heart disease, to do the virtual twin of the heart. And the virtual twin, as you all want to know to answer Anne's question, this is a digital representation of a product, an organ, a city, well, a digital representation that's multi-physics, multi-scale, in which we have integrated all the data from this organ or this product, as well as all the data of all similar products. So you can do a lot of model and simulation. So if you have the virtual twin of the heart of the kid, then the surgeon can experiment in the digital world a different kind of operation or get AI help him on the best possible operation, and also see how the heart is going to grow later on, and make sure that the child is going to be safe and will have an happy life. So this is the kind of amazing example you can have when you're using AI or GenAI in combination with virtual twin. And this is why I'm saying that virtual twin and AI is much more powerful than GenAI, because GenAI, if you're just doing it for answering some question, I mean, that's an improvement of Google. That's not a game changer. But virtual twin and GenAI, this is a real game changer in life science, in industries, in manufacturing industry, in infrastructure. And right now, at Dassault Systèmes, it's not only in life science that we are using it at Lens. We are currently using it as well to work on projects like bringing to market, together with Airbus, a hydrogen plane in order to decrease the emission of the aviation, or to build net zero construction or sustainable electronics, where each and every part of an electronic device will be circularized and reused in another one. So it just can be a real game changer. But then, because we're working with a lot of companies around the world, the question, and here particularly in Davos this week, is often, okay, I understand virtual twin is going to bring a lot. I understand GenAI can be super powerful. But me, as CEO of L'Oréal, as CEO of Fortescue Energy, I'm quoting the one I met this week, as CEO of Cap Gemini, or as CEO of Volvo or Hyundai Shipyards, where should I begin? And us, at Dassault Systèmes, we think you have to begin by the challenges you have, of course, but I think there are 3 challenges where the combination of GenAI and virtual twin are particularly powerful. And these 3 challenges are sustainability, resilience, and innovation. Sustainability, why? There is a lot of talk about Trump this week. I had an interview on a TV at 7 a.m. in the morning on Monday by -6. And my mom told me that I looked very pale. But the first question, yeah, and like, she's never positive. She's my mom. But whatever. The first question of the journalist was, what is the position of Dassault System on Trump? So we don't have a position on politicians at Dassault System, but what we can say is that for sure the conversation on the effect of the new president of the United States on sustainability has been discussed at wide. But you know, I'm very committed to sustainability. I joined Dassault System 8 years ago because our purpose is sustainable innovation. I have encouraged my CEO to transform our portfolio so that 2/3 of our portfolio now is sustainable portfolio that helps our clients to be more sustainable. So I'm very committed to that topic. And coming to Davos, I was a bit worried with the talk in Washington. Are companies going to go back on sustainability when we have absolutely no time to go back, because we are seeing the effect of climate change now, and we absolutely have to decrease the emission if we want to give to our children the world they deserve. And well, even the American companies I was talking to, and I've talked to companies like Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, Rivian, Ford, they all told me, you know, we don't have a choice. We don't have a choice on sustainability. Why? For two very good reasons. First, our customers, whether they're American or not, they want sustainable products. And according to the statistic of McKinsey, 70% of the customers now are looking at the sustainability of a product before purchasing. So it's huge, so 70%. And second, a company is basically a family of employees. And 75% of the employees, before joining a company, they check whether a company is sustainable or not. So if you want to keep clients, customers, and employees, you better be sustainable. And some of the CEOs also want to help the planet. That's the good news. But the fact is, if you want to change for sustainability, then the challenge is how do you transform your product for sustainability, and how do you transform your operation and your supply chain by sustainability? And this is a very good question to ask to the virtual twin of your product, the virtual twin of your company, and the virtual twin of your ecosystem and supply chain. Because if you use the virtual twin of your product, like we are doing with packaging company like Metsaboard, by using AI on the virtual twin of their product, they were able to decrease the CO2 content by 40%. Sanofi, the famous pharmaceutical company, by using the virtual twin of their new manufacturing plant, they were able to reduce the CO2 emission of 50%, the energy consumption by 60%, and the waste by 40%. Why? Because with AI, you're able to identify everything that can be done to improve. And it's so much easier than to do it like retroactively when it's too late and your manufacturing plant has already been installed. So on sustainability, the effect of the combination of virtual twin and AI are just very, very amazing. And then, so that's the first use case, which is very important to all companies. That I think we should push when it comes to virtual twin and AI. And then the second use case, I was talking about resilience. Resilience is a very important topic because, well, we are living in a world that is more and more disrupted. And this is the other talk of Davos. How are we going to go from an open world to a world that is going to have more trade barriers and that is going to be more difficult to work with, where some countries might be not open for business anymore? And if you want to do that, the virtual twin of your supply chain can be very useful. For example, we are working with car OEM and Renault. A Renault car is made of 10,000 parts. And during COVID in 2020, we've seen that if one part is missing, your manufacturing plant has to stop operating. So you're losing millions in just a few days. Well, if you have the virtual twin of your supply chain, combined with the virtual twin of your part, you're able to identify live, first, that your supplier is going to have an issue, and second, what is your other supplier that can deliver to you in case there is such an issue. So you can continue your manufacturing process. And it's true for cars, but it's also true for vaccine and pharmaceutical industries. So it's really, really important. And it really helps company stay resilient. And virtual twin and AI do not only help company stay resilient, it also help government and cities be more resilient. I was talking about climate change. We're seeing a lot of tough events, tsunamis, flooding, heat waves. Well, us at Dassault System, we are partnering with a lot of cities over the world, Singapore, Meudon, close to Paris, Tokyo, Kyoto, Guangzhou. And what are we doing with these cities? We are basically doing the virtual twin of Singapore, and then we do a virtual tsunami on Singapore to see what happens if there is a virtual tsunami on Singapore, or a lot of flooding in Kyoto to see what is happening to the temples of Kyoto if there are huge flooding. And thanks to that, the mayor of Kyoto or the local government of Singapore are able to identify what is destroyed because of this virtual tsunami and how they can adapt the city to make it more resilient. And once they've done the virtual adaptation, they can do another tsunami and see the result until they feel the city can be safe and all the monuments of the cities can be safe. And this combination of virtual twin and AI, tomorrow with GenAI and quantums, we are going to be able to really predict the real climate event that's going to happen, is going to be extremely helpful to prepare for resiliency. So resilience is also the other very important case where combination of GenAI and virtual twin can be very important. And then the third virtual twin is innovation. We all want to innovate. Earlier this week, I was discussing with the CEO of a cosmetic company. And one of his issues is that he has a global company. And he has to cope with all kinds of skins. And we are all beautiful in this room, but elsewhere in Davos, perhaps not all the women are, nor all the men. But the problem is that the products that have been developed for skin like me, very pale and unable to have any sun, is not necessarily good for a person in Africa or a person in South America. So what he wants to develop is a virtual twin of the skin to basically do the testing in the virtual world of the product to adapt its product. And it's going to help him advance in innovation very, very quickly. And this is going to be useful for all of us, hopefully, as well as our partners, because it's developing more and more teeth for the men as well, who happen not to have the same skin either. But what is done to speed, to innovate at speed in the cosmetic industry, we're also doing the same thing for medicines. For example, using the virtual twin of a new virus, and we've done that for some version of COVID, you're able to launch on the virtual twin of the virus all the molecules you know to see which ones is going to be most effective against the virus. And this is very useful because it allows you to basically go quicker in identifying the right molecule instead of before doing all the real testing. And because Google DeepMind has done all the virtual twins of all the proteins that exist, that can allow to find treatment so more quicker. And it can also allow like new products to appear. I was discussing hydrogen plane, which is going to help us to go to net zero aviation. This is done primarily by doing the design, engineering, and innovation on the virtual twin, combined with all the innovation by materials that are powered by GenAI. So innovation is the third use case where really combination of virtual twin and AI can change the game. But then, when I was having this conversation with with some of the people in Davos, the two questions, the next questions they were having, because they were very much interested in some of these topics, were, but where to begin? Where to begin if I want to go there, because I'm not sure I have the team, I don't know how to embark everybody in my organization. And really, the answer of this question for me is twofold. First thing, it's data. As I was saying at the beginning, you're gonna be able to use the power of your virtual twin if you have the right data. And by the right data, I mean enough data. So gather all the data of your company and the other companies that might want to work with you, and to have it safe, because in your data, there is a lot of IP, there is a lot of knowledge and know-how that you can extract even before, even without knowing that you have it. So the first thing for me was really to ask these people, well, can you first get hold and realize how much data you have and make sure they are in one single platform and a safe sovereign platform in order to protect it, because this is your most important IP. And the second thing is people. People are extremely important. AI, GenAI, new topics, and like just in 2 or 3 years, the conversation on technology have moved so fast. According to the World Economic Forum, more than 1.5 million jobs are going to be transformed between now and 2030. 69% of the people will have to learn a new skill. So there is no way we are going to be able to cope with that if we don't bring these new skills to our teams, to our ecosystem. So making sure that we bring to everybody the passion to learn, but also make them understand what technology is about and how they can exploit technology and why they should invest in learning about it is super important if you want to succeed, because you need to have your teams together with you in this transformation if you want to make it happen, and to make it happen at scale. So I hope now people understand the difference between digital twin and virtual twin. I hope I help convince you that using them is going to bring you so much. And I also wanted to finish by telling you that I think we are living in exciting times, because thanks to technology, thanks to AI, thanks to virtual twins, we are going to be able to change so many things in our companies, in the way we are using everything we are using, in the way we are going to circularize a lot of metals, minerals, products. And I think we are very lucky to be living today. We are very lucky to be living in that world and to be able to basically create the world of tomorrow. And I really wanted to finish by quoting Abraham Lincoln, who said some years ago, obviously, the best way to predict the future is to make it happen. So let's make it happen.
Fabulous. Thank you, Florence. Please have a seat. So I hope we're all on the same level now when it comes to technology, what already exists, what is possible. So my question is, if virtual twins can predict any future by simulating what-if scenarios, if quantum can hack any code we can possibly, or any enigma we can possibly imagine, and we add AI that is even transforming humanity when you think of humanoids. So my question is, with the digital power shift, who's shaping the future? Are we still in charge? Are we equally in charge? Or only gonna be like the tech savvies that gonna create our future? So I'm gonna invite you for a panel now, and we're gonna look into this 3 dimensions. So I wanna welcome Catherine Juan. She's the CEO and founder of the Swiss Future Institute, 5-time board member. Please have a seat. And we have Christina Hirsch, is the Executive Vice President for Digital Trust Business of Swisscom. So let's start with the first question directly in technology for Florence. So virtual twins can predict every future. And what is your boldest prediction where tech is going to end up, let's say 2040?
2040, I will still be 22.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, like all of you. Well, my best prediction when it comes to 2040 is that by 2040, my doctor will have a virtual twin of Florence, and I hope your doctors are going to have a virtual twin of all of you. And when I mean a virtual twin of me and you, it's to basically predict what's going to happen and to go from cure to care. Let me give you an example. I have a husband. So it happens to some people, I know. And I don't want a digital twin of my husband. One husband is enough. But I happened to do mountain bike with my husband in Austria 1 year and a half ago, and because he was going too fast and I tried to follow, I had a bike accident and I was operated, and basically my surgeon missed the operation. Would he have my virtual twin in his computer? And because he missed the operation, I had to have 4 times other surgeries. I'm surviving and I'm fine. And I'm still waiting for the big gift my husband is going to offer me. If I'm live, that will be good to pass the information to Camille Beffa. But my point is, should the doctor have had my virtual twin, he could have simulated the operation in order to do the right one, which would have prevented him to miss the first one. And that will be an amazing case. But even before operation, what could be great if, we are all having test blood, we all have sensors everywhere, if all of that will be included in my virtual twin, then my doctor could tell me in advance, well, Florence, you have to eat less sugar or drink less wine, and prevent me to get some disease, or even forecast in advance some possibilities of cancer and make sure that I act not to get cancer in advance. And that will be possible thanks to a virtual twin powered by all the data that are now sitting in the different offices of my different doctors.
Thank you. Katrin, Christina, quick response?
World Woman Davos, warm welcome. The future will be human tech fusion. We're going to have updated AI robots living with us side by side. We will learn how to live with AI. AI will learn how to live with us. And we will together create better versions, updates of AI, reflecting upon ourselves, since the maker and the creature have a special bonding, telling about ourselves. In this thought, we are going on the next level of evolution. I'm looking forward to it.
2040, so I go back to more precise reality. I believe we humans will move between the virtual and the real world, and we will do that very consciously. I think we're now kind of in a gray zone where things become a little fuzzy sometimes, but I'm a big fan of the twin and of the simulation. And just a thought that's crossing my mind, I had a discussion with my niece lately, and she's 18, she graduated from school, she wants to do a job, and she doesn't know which. I think most of us were in that situation. And wouldn't it be cool if there was a digital twin of hers? She could simulate, if you do the studies, what would you do? What is the result? What is the impact? What's the later me? And I mean, yes, the medical reason is there as well, but I think it would be very nice. And I'm totally convinced that technology will help us, but I'm also totally convinced that it's up to us to shape it. We cannot just let it happen. Like, getting back to your last question, it's us, so there's no way to hide away. We can use the technology, it's powerful, but as humans, we're the creative part. So I think we should use our brains. We should not be just sitting and waiting or believing things that we hear. We should use our brains to challenge the technology, to shape the technology, and be a part of this new future.
Thank you. So talking about technology, so now when we can simulate everything, we can maybe fake everything as well. So how do we get the trust in there? Christina, that's your main part.
Yeah, that's my challenge. And I'm very happy that it's mine because it's a big one and I love it. No, but I think the fakes can be very bad, but I think the border between a fake and something that is maybe authorized very liquid. So to give you an example, like if I take a photo of Anne in the street and there's a car in the photo, we don't want to have it in the photo, maybe the car driver doesn't want to have the license plate on it, so I wouldn't say there's any harm in just taking this remote car out of the photo. And is the photo a fake? Afterwards, somewhat yes, because it has been modified, but if I took it, Anne is on the photo, the car driver doesn't even know that they're on the photo, they're taken away, and the photo is somewhat authorized by the two of us, it's okay. And I think this idea of authorization, like putting a personal label on it, maybe signing a photo like an artist signs their picture, that will happen in the future because it will not be so important what is truth, what is fake. I mean, everybody probably took a spot out of their face or something in a photo already, or made some manipulation to the color whatsoever. But I think that will happen, but the important thing is, does the owner of the content or the person who is in the picture approve that this picture shows me? And I think there we will have very smart technology. We're currently starting on text technology, but we're going to pictures and video as well to create those safe spaces. And I think if the next fake of the Pope comes up, we have 100 pictures of the Pope that has been approved by him, and then there's this fake picture. If it's not approved by him, everybody knows it's a fake, and then it's somewhat entertainment, comedy, and you're in the space of not taking things so serious again. And I think this is also important. We tend to be so upset about everything that happens. So if we have more guidance and more guardrails, what we can believe and what not, we have to be less excited again. So I think it will make us more relaxed. And I believe that we come out of a phase now with the internet growing, social media. I mean, the first iPhone came out in 2008, and that was when really any kind of information would hit the screen 24/7. So actually, comparing to humankind, it's a fairly new development, and we still need to learn how to deal with it. So I think we're now in a phase where it's a little chaotic, and I'm totally convinced digital twins, AI, and all the technology we're seeing right now will help us to be more organized, have an overview, and maybe take it more from a humoristic perspective every once in a while.
Great. Florence, Catherine, quick reaction on that one.
Well, I really like the humoristic perspective because I agree. I mean, most of the people take things too badly. And, you know, we recently have the AI Act in Europe, and the AI Act, unlike everybody's complaining about Europe, but in fact there is kind of the equivalent in the different states of the US. And AI Act really differentiates between AI, where it's touching healthcare, defense, security, where it has to be total trust on the data, on all verification, on the AI algorithm, and the rest. When it comes to the pictures, I mean, again, when it's some use of AI and some use cases are not so serious, so let's not worry too much as long as we know that the trust is there for what is really important.
Technically, you can verify pictures. Technically, you can verify videos, which is a sequence of pictures. Technically, you can verify every person you talk to. What does it make with our trust? Well, there's still the human intuition, the human guts feeling, which is the combination of your skills, capabilities, and experiences, and this remains with you. I like to say the brain sits in front of your device and not in your device. And be prepared in situations. Don't wait until it happens. If you're not sure, once upon a time, I did it with my peers, my families, my business members. You can have code words. You can have code sentences, and you can recall fake memories. You know, from Terminator, when the Terminator calls the other side to check whether the parents of a little boy are still alive, and there's a dog whose name is not Wolfie. Is Wolfie still here? You fed Wolfie, all good? Okay. your parents are dead. This is what you can apply. And at the end of the day, it's about you. It's not the technology. The responsibility and the brain is in front of your device. So make use of that.
So let's stay with the humanity. So what's humanity's next chapter? I don't know if you followed the news, but in Poland, there was a first AI CEO that was appointed. So machines and AI apparently are now smarter and more human than us. But what is our unique value in all that? Katrin?
What is good leadership? Is it the good decisions top down to make them? Is it to distribute order, take down these good decisions to make the execution? Or is it the relation between us, between your people in your team, to sense, to feel, and to empower your people to be the best version and to work efficiently on several layers with each other, not only on the facts and numbers one? I'm quite open, the ones knowing me, towards the future. If there was an AI CEO for you, would you like to welcome him, her, it? I would say yes. Let's do it. Let's give it a serious try. I'm so curious. I would say at the same time, as a data IT nerdy person I am, let me check the data first. Because knowing that AI is trained based on human historic data, maybe we first need to become a better CEO before AI can become a better CEO for us.
Christina, Florence, short reaction.
Okay, take the nerdy piece. I hope that the digital CEO has a human board, and I would probably rather have a try with a digital assistant CEO than pure digital CEO. And I also explain you very well why. I think on the first thing, I've been working in the tech industry for 25 years, and the data sets we've had were always incomplete, and that tends, even as managers, to overrate whatever we can measure and to ignore what cannot be measured. And I think that's the beauty of a human being, that you can take the data, but if you know that there's additional information which is not contained in the data, either you have it or you go to the people who work on the field, you talk to them, and then you know what's going on. So I would be a little scared of the AI CEO, that they would miss that piece. And maybe one thing I can add, I recently learned that as humans, we have as many nerve cells in the brain as we have in the stomach. And a lot of the information we digest literally goes straight into the stomach, and it doesn't even take the extra route through the brain. And I think AI at some certain point maybe will also develop that kind of instincts, but I don't think it's there yet. So I see AI as a very, very strong partner, because I hate digging in those reports and putting Excel sheets together and trying to find connection between big data sets. So yes, thank you, Mr. AI CEO, for doing this for me, but in the end I still prefer like the human side of the business. So maybe if it's a pure technology company, everything can work on AI, but I think as soon as you have a human factor in there, you need a mix. It's kind of diversity, a new level of diversity maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Well, for me, AI is amazing as a co-worker. He's working 24/7. He can analyze any data a lot quicker than me. But when it comes to a company is a group of people who have decided to work together because they believe in one purpose, because they believe in one vision, and they want to make it happen. So it's about vision, purpose. You know, I told you I joined Dassault System because I believe in our vision of sustainable innovation, full tech, and I don't think an AI can set a vision, a purpose, and bring emotion in the way it leads people and empower people. So I think this is really our strength, the fact that we're able to put together our brain and our heart to lead, and I think that's gonna stay. But we'll see what happens with the Polish AI CEO.
Yes.
Indeed. I normally plan to have like a question from the audience, but I have like a Christmas tree up here. So I really hope that we might answer some questions like after the session to leave the stage for the other ones. For me, one quick key takeaway from every one of you, Katrin.
AI is here to stay with us. You better deal with it today. Future is not coming in 5 years. Future is what happens today based on your actions here, so take responsibility. I kindly, warmly invite you, ladies and gentlemen, World Woman Davos, be responsible, be tech literate, be knowledgeable, be certified, educate, do, train, do it yourself. Don't purely delegate AI. AI is not a delegation topic. AI is not an IT topic. AI is a CEO topic. AI is a board topic here to stay with us. You are ultimately responsible for your future. Better do and start with it today, knowing that every marathon starts with a first step into the right direction, having a long breath. So go for it.
Florence, what's your key takeaway?
My key takeaway is that virtual twin and AI are real game changer when it comes to sustainability, resilience, and innovation. And it can really help us create the world we want to see happening. So let's do it.
Christina.
I am also a firm believer we will shape the future together. Use your hearts, use your brains, use your guts, whatever you have. I think the human is still unique and we'll shape it. Thank you, ladies.
And I also have like a last key takeaway. I'm gonna get a bit closer because now it's up to you. So Rupa and the fantastic team, the fantastic brave team, we know what happens. In the follow-ups, they're gonna send you a QR code. Please, if you're in, scan it, use it. This session gave you knowledge. Knowledge is power. Power is what you make out of it. The future is when? Now. So act, start, be the virtual shaper of the future. Up to you, ladies.